Guys, after subscribing to this channel, please make sure that you also press the bell icon so that no notification, no new video of mine, any educational video, is missed by anybody.
Okay, so I welcome one and all in the class tonight, and today is going to be statistics part 1. As I was giving you an introduction, statistics part 1 and part 2 will be the lectures, and these lectures are made exclusively on all the questions asked on statistics in the previous 10 years. Nothing has been paid exclusively out of my whims and desires. Everything I've made thanks to all my bunch of students who've been kind enough to give me consolidated list of questions that has been asked in the past 10 years. All my slides have been based on those questions itself, and certain things which I thought are conceptual enough so that, questions might be asked on case control studies, but I have also, elaborated upon cohort studies, and I'll be making the concepts as we go. So just stay with me in tonight's class, and I'll make all these concepts very easy for you. These concepts will also be used not only for your DNB exams or your MSMD examinations or your DGU exams, but it will be of profound importance to you to make and write down papers, thesis, and research articles, right? So just stay with me. Let's begin. So the first question, which has been asked 2-3 times, is the classification of research studies. Now, all of you know there are multiple kinds of studies, okay? But what and how will you classify them? So I have made this table. Research is, a primary research or a secondary research. Primary research is the first that you are starting de novo. You are planning, you start. Secondary research, that means I'm taking certain review studies which have already been conducted, and then I'm pulling in the results to understand what exactly is it. So it's either a systematic review or a meta-analysis, you can see over here, right? These are secondary research. That means I'm taking, let's say, A, B, C, D, they did some individual studies. Okay, A did their own study, B did their own study, C did their own study. And I saw that all these studies are hovering around one particular topic. And I took all the studies together. Okay, this study was conducted in this hospital, B conducted study in this hospital, C conducted the study in that hospital. Now let me sum up all these studies if they have been done on one particular topic, and let's find out what the result is. First of all, whether they use the similar parameters, whether they went through the similar confounding results, what was their research strategy. And if they're all hovering around a similar topic, then I'll pull them down to understand what the result came out to be. All these are mostly meta-analysis. So they are not primary research models. They are secondary research models because they're taking help of other studies which they have done need be known. But this A study, which was started by, let's say, a person alone, that exactly actually is a primary research. Now, they can be different kinds. They could be just descriptive, like, case reports, like, okay, fine. Oh, this thing happened with me. Okay, this prolapse case, I managed, and she had a prolapse during pregnancy. I managed by putting the pessary inside, and she went in, had a delivery at term. The pessary was then henceforth removed and reinserted again, and she was also taught Kegel's exercise and so on and so forth. So this was your case report or case study, individual. This was descriptive. I described, right? Or I say, okay, in my hospital, under my unit, let's say unit number 2, so many pregnant women in the second trimester came out having anemia. So cross-sectional study, descriptive study. I'm describing what's happening, right? These are descriptive studies, case reports, case series, cross-sectional studies. These are all descriptive. Then you have analytical studies. I saw a particular thing and I traced it back. What exactly happened? Let's say a person had preeclampsia, and I'm just trying to see what was her magnesium levels before, all right, or what were her calcium levels before, or was she taking aspirin or not before, right? So I'm following it up. So I'm analyzing. This is called analytical studies, and they are mostly the most favorite of everybody because most of the research work is actually hovering around these kind of studies. Case control studies, cohort studies, cross-sectional studies. The questions are asked in abundance on this topic. So analytical studies happen to be the most important when it comes to research studies. Are you with me so far, guys? In case I'm going and shooting across, you're not able to understand, you want to pause, please let me know, which is the reason why be active in your chat. Then there are certain interventional studies. Interventional studies means I'm introducing something. Let's say I want to find out whether giving this much of dose of magnesium to every person or let's say those candidates who have a high risk of developing preeclampsia helps in the delaying of preeclampsia or not. So what I'm doing is I choose 100 patients here and 100 patients there. Both of them are at high risk of developing preeclampsia because the risk factors, let's say gestasis scoring. And now I'm giving 200 subsets. I am giving magnesium, and to this subset, I'm not giving magnesium. They become my cases, they become my control. And now I'm seeing the outcome. So this is, I'm introducing something. It is intervention. I'm intervening. I'm not analyzing something which is which is just happening. I'm intervening. I'm giving something. So this is called as randomized control trial. It can be random, it cannot be random, but it is one of the randomized control trial is an example of interventional studies. So randomized control trials or non-randomized control trials, they are examples of interventional studies. And I already described about what is a secondary research. Now, anybody with any doubts so far? Okay, guys, be a little quick in answering so that we can cover the whole thing. It's a lot to be covered tonight. Right. So if I don't get an answer, yes or no, I'll move ahead thinking that I'm doing very well. All my students are very intelligent, that they're understanding and analyzing everything as we go. Let me just open up the chat room as well so that I'm sure of what you are understanding or not understanding. Okay, is statistics important for diploma students? Yes, statistics is important for everybody who is doing a doctorate. All right. So please don't run away from it, since you're getting an opportunity to understand statistics or the gist of it in a small, interesting class. Do not lose this opportunity. Right. Now I'll tell you what exactly are these major studies. Like I said, case studies, cross-sectional studies, case control studies. You should know a little bit about each one of them, and this is the most interesting slide so far, because this is going to make you the basis of what is going to come in some time. I told you what case reports are. The purpose is maybe one rare incident or a novel incident happening. Like you must have read so many case reports of something very, very unusual. Okay, case of malignant melanoma in pregnancy, or syndrome of inappropriate diuretic secretion post delivery or post hysterectomy. So rare occurrences, they are usually described as the case reports or case series. So they describe rare or novel events. It's very easy to conduct because it's basically just writing down what happened in your clinic or in that particular case series, and so many people can have it. There's no need of control group. There's no need of analyzing. There's no need of following up. There's no data, that goes. There's no follow-up needed. So all this becomes easy to manage, right? Now, then what happens is another study, which is called as cross-sectional study, a snapshot of population at one point in time, right? What do you mean by snapshot? That means cross-section studies, what did I say? Always remember with cross-section studies, this one word, which is called as a snapshot. That means right now, the population that I am having with me at this point in time, they will be taken up as a snapshot. That means I'm taking, let's, for example, I'm working in unit 2. So unit 2, second trimester, so many patients, let's say 50 patients I have with me. I'll take the hemoglobin of all of them at one point in time, and I'll find out the prevalence of anemia in second trimester patients, pregnant patients in unit 2. That is cross-sectional study. That means at this particular time, what is the problem going on, or at this particular moment in time, these many patients had this problem or did not have this problem. All right. So this is cross-sectional study. Just at this point in time, what's happening? Prevalence. So it's quick, it's low cost, and it cannot usually cause it cannot establish cause or outcome, nothing. It will just give you one result, which you want to know. So it's a snapshot of population at one point in time. Then you have called as case control studies. So it compares the cases with the controls, and usually all the analytical studies, like I said, are based either on case control or cohort studies, mostly, right? They are good for rare diseases, like for example, cases and controls. I say that low levels of magnesium, they cause, let's say, preeclampsia. Now, preeclampsia, though, is little common, I would say, but still, when you see a cohort of pregnant patients, how many patients do you find preeclampsia? All right. So let's say 100 patients you took and you had only 10 to 12% patients in which preeclampsia has developed, out of which you want to find out in these 10 to 12 patients, how many of them had low levels of magnesium right from the very beginning, or at the time of development of preeclampsia, previous, let's say 2-3 weeks. Now, the problem is that going back, they might or might not have got done magnesium levels. This is not a normal ANC that you would want to do it, right? But in those patients who are high risk already for preeclampsia, if you're following them up, maybe you can get them done at the magnesium levels, and then you can compare with each other. So when you're following up cases, when you're following up controls for an outcome which might be rare or more prevalent, in that case, that particularly study is called as case control studies, which all of you have done. I think all of you who made thesis have been following this. Some are cases, some are controls, and you're following them up for analysis, right? So it's good, a very good study, mostly done for rare diseases or rare outcomes. It is inexpensive, and you will try to recall. So it's going prospective. Retrospective, I'm sorry, not prospective. It can also be prospective, but mostly case control studies are retrospective. You are you're giving a questionnaire to the cases and the controls, and they're thinking and giving you back the answers. So recalls, mostly recalls. Selection bias is a possibility, but there is no incidence data. Everything is not to be remembered, girls. You all have to remember what is the concept.